figured I'd finish out this hour by just stockpiling some food and water. Guess just giving a little insight about who I am, whether it be viewers or just to myself later on, so I can look back and time capsule, I guess. Yeah, I live in a small town. I grew up here, was born here.
Power restored. All primary systems online.
Guess that's tougher.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Gotta check the radio message on this too. Yeah, I live in Northern California, up in the Redwoods. Just have been gaming probably since I was 6. I'm 42 now, so I've been gaming for quite a while. It's developed into something that's not frowned on by some people. Which it used to be. Just like anything else, I've also, I've skated since I was 12, skateboarding, and that was frowned upon as well by a lot of people. It took me a while, in the small community that I live in, to convince them to build a skate park. It took probably 14 years. But I finally, as you grow older, you get more wisdom and you want to do stuff for your community, so I reached out and figured out, what the city could do to fund building a skate park, and that, because they always, I'd go to the city council and they would always be like, oh, the insurance, blah, 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 and we can't do it. They always came up with excuses, and then the state law for recreational parks and whatever finally changed it to make it a hazardous recreational activity, and it took me going to Healdsburg and local cities around Santa Rosa and stuff, and finding out information on how the city could go about doing it, and I had to present that to them, force feed them, being like, you can do this, you can get grants from the state and they'll pay for it, which they did mostly. We did fundraisers and stuff, but I guess I brought that up. I like to try and contribute to my community, however small it is, and it's growing fast. There's a lot, as I get older, I notice a lot more people inhabit an area. I guess our population is growing. I felt like it was a good contribution. There's kids that use the skate park every day. Not during it's hot right now, but summer. But, it's good to, get out there and contribute to where you actually live, and do something for your communities, for to make the area around you better for everyone, so that you can be happy if you can. So done that. I guess this is more of a time capsule for if I ever look back on it and go, man, me at 40, I was wasn't thinking that. I'm also trying to learn about streaming. It's, I guess with a small community like mine, I remember back in like 2012 or 2002, they were digging down the side of the highway, bringing in fiber optics, which is something new. You know, like I was excited for it. You know, having the internet and all that, but there were, you know, San Francisco, you know, all the big cities. They've already had the fiber optics, and everybody gets to jump on the internet and how it works. And, you know, it's like a trickle effect. Like streaming's been out for years, and I'm just now discovering it myself, trying it out, wanting to put out content, get my thoughts out there. Whether, you know, some people do podcasts.
Oxygen.
I'm, I guess, doing it through the game. And I enjoy watching people game too. I watch Jason Sully, I watch Dr. Disrespect live because I grew up playing a lot of PvP games and I like his mindset. You know, he's like ruthless and you know, it's their games. It's a competitive thing for some people. I stopped being competitive a while ago. It's fun to watch. He's definitely a character. He's has his own personality that he's developed over time. I mean, he seemed a bit rusty when you watch his earlier stuff too. So you just gotta you know put out content, see where it goes, see how your personality develops, and how much you want to share with an audience. Some people will hide behind a mask or whatever, but their personality always shows. It's like being in like gaming in online games and stuff, you see that perspective more and more as you experience it. You know, the people's personalities can shine through their avatar, which you know you don't see who they actually are. And usually it's like you hear their voice and you think you're gonna picture what they look like or whatever. And sometimes you'll actually they'll post a picture of themselves and be like, I didn't realize you were a kid or whatever, maybe I had a new voice or something. Yeah, it's a different world in the internet. How your brain perceives people. But the personality always shows in the end, whether they're hot-tempered or, you know, just everyday life stuff that peeks through. So, it's always, you know, it's something I've observed throughout many years of online gaming. But some people can put up the false front, I guess. But I mean, it's a lot. Like I said, over time, you kind of show your true colors. Eventually. Like, you know, I game with some real life friends, and you know, I know them in real life, and I know their personalities and how they act, and online, to me, they don't perceive themselves as something different. You know, they're just chill, the same people online as they are offline. So. But I guess some people can mask it and they hide behind it. Maybe it's just with an age thing or just wisdom in general about yourself, self-reflection type thing. It's always comforting to know some people are just in it for, you know, have fun with people and not be trolly, because it is, I mean, the online personas are a bit toxic, you know, but it's, you know, kids lashing out. I did it with skateboarding. You know, skateboarding is to me was a weird concept later, like thinking about what I was doing as a teenager, with all my teen angst and being a punk and whatever. Just, you know, lashing out at the community, like just yelling as you ride down the street or whatever. But, you know, it's just things people go through. But the skating for me it was self, like when you fall down, when you push yourself, and you fall and you hurt yourself, and it's like all that negative energy that you had to vent, you know, that's, you know, some people vent in different ways. It's better than venting it onto somebody else, in my opinion. You know, it's like, why? So it would be pushed on me. You know, I pushed myself and hurt myself if I was, you know, if I had things going on in my head growing up and had to release and vent the stress, you know, just everyday stress, maybe, you know, just a bad day at school, you know, somebody says something and you're like, you know, it's directed towards you, whatever. I mean, not really bully type stuff, it's just, you take stuff in as you're growing up differently as your brain develops, and, you know, eventually, for me, I would just be like, okay, that's just that guy's opinion or her opinion or whatever, and, you know, they have their own right to say whatever they want, you know, it's just fine, it's just, go ahead. So, yeah, event releasing, skating was a big part of that. Now it's like, you know, and you get through it, push through. But I guess I've you know, I've been gaming for most of my life. I've enjoyed it. It's my hobby, and people have hobbies. I mean, I like to go on hikes through the Redwoods and other things as well. You know, it's like the gaming community is online. It's not, you don't go downtown to the community in real life and just, you know, I guess you can talk games to some people, but for the most part, not a lot of people. It's more in your household, you know. I mean, there is mobile now, but, you know, you don't walk up to somebody when they're playing on the phone, you know, start spectating on the shoulders. Invasion of space type thing. At least that's my opinion. Because I would, you know, I guess I get high anxiety in public places too. And I try not to be in people's way when I'm in line at the grocery store or whatever. You know, I try to get in, get out. And I don't like wasting other people's time. You know, I guess it's just a courteous thing. It's just, for me in general, you know, I just don't like to be in people's way. So. But yeah, the anxiety thing, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that like communication, or just observing people, or maybe some bad stuff that maybe happened to me with confrontations or whatever. It's pushed me away from being around crowds of people, I guess. So I guess delve more into the online escape, because it's, you know, it's less less stressful. I mean, I even tried in this space not to be, repugnant and whatnot. I mean, I have been trolling, I'm a PvPer. For the most part, most of my games have been PvP driven. And, you get a lot of toxic attitudes. You be competitive. Talk to your gaming skills or whatever. I mean, I guess I could just ramble on about stuff. I guess that's in a nutshell. It's kind of where I'm at right now, at age 42. Just kind of gaming, figuring out the streaming thing. It's been I guess if I look more into it, I could do all the glitzy, glamoury, bling stuff, flying around, all that good stuff that'll probably come later. Some of it I think's super cheesy, even with the Dr. Disrespect. I mean, I know that there's an addressing thing that has, the marketing thing for streamers is to address their spectators and get them involved, but really, I mean, and it does feel good. I've had like Julian, like Jenna Marbles, boyfriend, say stuff about, like say my name, and I'm like, oh cool, I recognize you, see that, and Jason Sully. So people just hearing their name being recognized in this huge arena of people. I guess virtual reality might change that. You get to have your own persona, your own avatar. That'll change how we perceive and relate. Everybody should just. But I guess with the small town and the fiber optics getting here 2 years after everybody else in the bigger cities have it, you get caught up in the trickle down of technology and what you can do and discovering what's out there. The internet obviously makes it faster. You have to get to the internet, so I always feel like I'm lagging behind a couple of years. But I'd like to catch up and stream more. Just put myself out there in a new way. I think the streaming thing's pretty cool. I see people going far with it, but I don't know if it's just that the people that discovered it first and they get their spot in that, and then they take everything else. Like any other kind of company would do that, they figure out what people want, and then they just force feed everyone around them and take control of that market, so to speak. Just kind of a way to think that, that's what we gravitate towards.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Trying to get ahead of everybody else. I'm more of a, sharing is caring type of thing. I am more, I guess, an invert. Like I say, I get anxiety and whatnot, but I do, I've worked construction 20 years, I haven't, ever overcharged people, which I see, there's a bad rap, and it's true that it should be. Some contractors charge out the ass and they fucking read a newspaper all day. People are just ignorant to that whole part of it, but for me, I work my ass off to try and make other people comfortable by building them homes and stuff. I'd sadly have to build my own home, so it's like, you know, I'm going through life, you know, making other people comfortable. You know, fine with it. You know, I've got, you know, paid for what I've worked, so I have no complaints. I do the work. I get paid for it. I don't overcharge and whatnot. I'm trying to get out of construction. I've tore up my body for 20 years now. I don't want to walk around hunched over later, so I'm trying to just take it easy. Get into something more relaxing.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
You can't be on the internet for free yet. Yes, you can for some areas, but not here. The electricity all this stuff. Still working. Looks like we got some fish, some water, some first aid kit. We got a bunch of stuff to build. I want to find out where this multi-purpose room is. Made a moon pool, which I don't even have, like a star or whatever that is, so I can build the modifications. So the next hour, I guess I'll do a little more fishing, I guess, is what what you can call it. This is such a beautiful game too. It's amazing. It's where it is. I wish I could go deeper, but I guess I gotta find a moon pool for that too. Oh, look at their eyes are closed. I mean, it's such a cool game. They're like sleeping because the sun's down. It's amazing how much little detail is kind of overlooked. Some of the gameplay, I've watched some. I try not to be too watch too much. So I want to try and figure the game out on my own. But I watched some just to see, certain things. I didn't know how
30 seconds.
to get water.
New creature discovered.
I've drowned once already, and I've lost. Survival. wondering if they'll make it to where you can repair that big ship out there. Take off. That'd be nice to actually expand on the game to where you start here, you go through the trials and whatever this is, but then you start space travel. Because there's games out there now that are, I guess, No Man's Sky. It's just randomly generated shit, but this thing, go into that planet there, or, out. To, repair that thing. It should take forever, but make it a multiplayer game. And have hella people working on it, repairing it, redoing it. Take back off all these other pods. Wondering if I can fit more solar panels. Yes. Well, that's the time for today. Figured I would try and share a little about myself and ramble on.